Her eyes fell on the red larva who was trembling with fear and confusion reassure her. She said, "I introduced myself as this companion B." However, the red larva sweat and crawling shivering. Salvos sat down to level his heights. An arm was extended to the red larva, offering a friendly gesture. Finally, the red larvae came closer and shook her hand suddenly. Another hellhound appeared from behind both of them as he looked around in surprise on checking the system. She found that this hellhound is only a 13th level demon as he took hold of. Her spear activated the passive skill to the general tool skill with determination. She did face the hellhound larva, was furious to keep up with the hellhound, and was ready to attack, but then to their surprise, despite the sheer numbers, several more hellhounds appeared in varying levels and sizes. The Salvos, undeterred, prepared to confront them. A wolf rushed to her and she immediately used fire strike skills as he speared the hellhound, first to feed the level 13 spike hellhound and gain extra experience points, but the war was not over until 3 more. The hellhounds approached her, and the Salvos as he swung her spear in the hope of scaring them away. But the hellhounds became even more enraged and then continued her advance. Salvos pointed her finger raised towards the hellhound and fired with her new skill. The power of her attack exploded. The wolf was reduced to ashes by the Salvos, again grabbing the red larva. She held it tightly, and in an instant the Salvos leaps over the hellhound using her double-step skill, as much as fast as she could. However, hellhounds in constant pursuit of them, running. Salvos keeping a smile on her face, urging the red larva to hold on and not let go. Looking back, not wanting to leave him, she ran away, used fire strike to attack the pursuing hellhounds. She keeping the red larvae close. She finally saw the rock and thought to jump. They may help the hellbound to lose, but there's the plan went awry when a giant foot one coming down and blocking their way. A level 22 colossal hell beast Satan was standing before them, and the Salvos responded by firing back. However, the beast of hell from the flames of fire came out. The hell beast killed Salvos and she tried to parry the attack with her spear, but the power of hell beast beat her into a corner, and as he closed her eyes as she felt a sharp pain. When she opened her eyes, she was holding a red larva. She was surprised to see the beast of hell attacking the people of hell. Instead of seizing the opportunity, she ran as fast as she could. At that time, the hell beast was distracted. Salvos ran away with the red larvae. She was not aware if the red larva, also from level 9, had reached level 10 demon larva. Knowing this, the red larva turned back, and soon as he lost her senses, replaced the Salvos. The larva lay panting on the ground. Rise escaping Salvos captured her. It took a moment for her to catch her breath due to being away from the enemies, and she checking her system, she found that she has become a Josh imp at level 10 as he scored 5 stat points and gained 3 skill points. That the system, the notification shows that she had 10 to 12 stood. Salvos looked back and reassured the larvae that there is no need to fear, because she will protect. However, before that she finished her sentence. Unexpected wind instead of red larvae. Now a man behind her. He stood for a long time. Red hair, skin, and elf ears. He has the man greeted her with a smile. It felt like him. Little sister was clueless about it. Who is this person? The system window shows that the man in front of her was a level 10 demon. Salvos, with significant height differences, began to suspect that this person, the evolutionary form of the red larva, is particular. When she saw that there was only a pool of black ink where the larvae. While studying this person, Salvos determined. He prepared his fist to strike with his teeth. Amazingly, that person more confused Salvos in laughter. Salvos questioned why him laughing and asked him to stop. The man replied that his reaction was so much it was funny. Without knowing why this person laughed, introduced myself as Hack, laughed and talked happily for a while. Salvos happily expressed that he did always considered him as her partner. She didn't know he had a name. He replied that he really has a name and Salvos was its leader. Salvos wondered why he saw her as a leader. He reminded her that he had followed her when she had saved him from the long larva. Salvos, with a surprised expression, asked if that was the reason why he was always chasing. He thought that trying to steal his level by killing him. Hack replied that he would never do such a thing. Salvos then asked what the Hack did. The reason he followed this level 2 larva was because he was once saved by hearing the Hack face turned sad. And he explained that he pursues the larva because he were the same family. Hack revealed that he found himself in a black liquid which was born with others. And Hack was later joined by Salvos. Only felt a sense of sadness because he felt that the rest are no longer there, just leaving him and those who observed the sadness of the Hack. Salvos patted him hard to ask Abs if he well. Hack answered honestly that he would. He was genuinely saddened that he own was grouped with peers such as Salvos, but that were either dead or captured by wild demons. Salvos. Yet Hack's feelings were not fully understood. This the moment that she was not entirely sure of the exact reason for his sadness. Seeing Hack in this state, Salvos hurt himself and trying to console him. He didn't like that he Hack holding his hand and assured him that others too can be gone, but I'm still here. He is the one who said I am your leader. Salvos said that this feeling on Hack felt, and until you will not be alone until you follow me. A broad smile lit up Salvos' face as he said these words, replied with a slight smile. As Salvos nodded in agreement to go along, telling Heck not to be sad anymore, he reassured her that wherever they go will fight side by side and be equal to each other. Suddenly there, he saw a big spider approaching them. Heck agreed with Salvos' words, and that expressed the belief that until they are together they will be fine. The spider attacked, and Salvos quickly blocked his attack with his arm. From then on to the spider biting his stomach, Heck grabbing one of the spider's legs and twisting it. She took part in the fight, hit the spider with her fire blast, and then jumped to stab him in the head. With her spear, the spider screamed in agony. She was spitting green blood, successfully defeated the giant spider, and the two equaled. The Hack reached level 13 when they were ready to leave the Salvos. That he was a little angry that the Hack was equaled twice, while the only time he was equal was when he joked, said that it is unfair to her, he's leveling up fast. He reminded her that she was already level 15, because of which for her Salvos had become difficult to level. She was about to say something, but then their system windows, it was surprising both of them at the same time that they both talked and felt that they have received the same information, now entering the domain of the Demon King. Enough walked for a long time, but they got nothing. Hack advised to leave the place, but Salvos insisted that they have barely explored the area, and this is a new area where they can become cloudy and strong. Hack expressed his loyalty and said that Salvos was its leader and that he admitted that he would follow her orders, that she has a bad feeling about the place where Hack, understanding her concern, turned to go back the way she. Hack asks if she is okay with his idea, because he didn't want to force her. Salvos fully agreed with him, told that she only this wanted to see what made this place different, but now she suspects that nothing but danger. She thought perhaps this is where the tall devil went, and if they were face to face with them, the demons will either force them to follow or at worst try to kill them. Salvos smiled, told Heck she didn't want that to happen. Heck smiled slightly happily that Salvos understood his concerns, because that's something. Heck was surprised by the unexpected dropouts. I saw an unknown person approaching them. When this person can clearly see that there was a large body with ashen skin. Salvos with the same elf-like ears as he stumbling like a giant. He reached forward and placed his weapon on the ground. Of these, she declared what it seemed to be someone to answer this contract call. Not a bad idea when all the two surviving. And after less monsters, this one there is an achievement that had a smile on its face, and Heck prepared himself for a possible fight in the case of this person. At this point he intended to harm them. That's it, couldn't see the man's level, so he asked Salvos. One can clearly see the surface of the man, informed Hack that he level 42. Dajan, as he believed that he can't fight Dajan in your current R. Dajan grinned, showing off his sharp teeth, and boasted about being a big devil who there is an evolution above Salvos. She said, grasping her spear tightly. Salvos struggled to grasp its power, told Dajan that they are not wild demons. She explained that they didn't do that. They didn't want to fight him anymore. There was no reason for them to join the war. Salvos politely begs Dajan to leave them alone and makes a promise that they would not hurt him. Dajan, however, argued that the wild jinn Satans have been mentioned were not different from to him, and Salvos herself believed it was all selfish. There are creatures that by their instincts tries to kill and equalize. Angry Salvos he replied that even if Dajan could defeat them, he will gain experience. It will be extraordinary. Nothing will be gained by fighting us. Dajan slams his weapon into the ground and disagreed that Salvos was wrong. He revealed that he knew that Salvos, your identification skills, has developed a high level of unpredictable ability to level Salvos. Dajan was shocked to know that given the size of the Hack, Dajan speculated that he wasn't just an ordinary hobbyist, I guess that one can undergo extraordinary evolution, possibly even a rare one. Dajan announced that now lesser demons come with me to greet your king. Salvos and Hack was unsure what to do given the vast difference in levels there is between them and Dajan. They thought they had no chance. Salvos decided that better to follow Dajan for now, though before complying, Salvos wanted to know that what Dajan plans to do with them. If you follow it, you have to make a mistake. This was not a request, Dajan said, responded with surprise. Salvos, without warning, Dajan attacked them with his big weapon. Salvos and the Hack ran away quickly, but Salvos stumbled and fell to the ground. Dajan came to her and coldly told her that he will drag them half dead if necessary. He will fulfill the contract. And King Rignorix planned to obtain great rewards from the Demon King, in which to capture both a demon and an imp. I'm not just an imp, I'm Salvos to your fire blast, she shouted as she speed up. Dajan smiled as he smacked her burning haze. A cloud of purple ash formed that engulfed him. The besieged Salvos used their spears to fend off Dajan's attack. Dajan remarked that fire near the Salvos, the talent to produce, was unexpected, which shows it that she was worth more. Than she was in the beginning. With thoughtful steps he approached Salvos, who realized that the purple cloud is made of ash. The Dajan is incredibly fast, and Salvos one can sense his relentless pursuit. As he was about to attack Salvos from behind, she managed to escape just in time. Dajan said with a sarcastic smile that she forever unable to escape. To his surprise, Hack delivered a powerful punch, taking aim. A crushing blow was thrown at Dajan, but despite the power behind the Hack attack, Dajan, insecure and her own determined to show strength, Dajan clenched his fists and delivered a devastating blow to the Hack, which the cause sent him flying and vomiting blood. Salvos looked worriedly at Hack, wanted to run to him, though Dajan blocked his way with his hand, reached his face. His anger welled up inside Salvos as she clung. Her teeth she combined with her spear. She unleashed a fire strike and attacked the weapon familiar Dajan, who swatted her, grasping it with his bare hand. He slammed his weapon into the ground that shook the ground, and Salvos quickly jumped back, avoiding the powerful force embossed by Dajan. Dajan had a wound on his hand and it was dripping with blood. It turns out that the Salvos have medium weapon, and she was surprised that a lesser devil like him. How did he get it? But his of Salvos there was no intention of answering. Dajan answered the angry questions, arms raised, and your mighty skillfully opened ash and cinders circle, which had a revolving circle above it, which he planned to use the Salvos as a projectile to attack them. Because he thought that Salvos doesn't want to come with him, he decided to scrap it and take the Hack instead, because being a prisoner of Dajan, no one was better. Then Salvos quickly dodged Dajan's attack, and using your double-step skills it created distance between them. Though she managed to escape the attack but it became clear that it would have been. If the double measures had not been taken to avoid the attack, could have ended his life. However, to Salvos it was known that whenever Dhe realized that she can't rely on double-stepping if Dajan is ready to attack again, and next time they might don't be able to avoid it. Like Dajan, a sudden appearance was ready to deliver a fatal blow. Hack emerged and interrupted the scene, riding boldly on Dajan's shoulder, holding his head tightly. You ran away, you can do it. Salvos yelled at him, exhorted to flee. Salvos he didn't want to leave her partner. But before she did, reactive Dajan managed to get rid of Heck's grip, and her a forced hit sent Hack flying. And Salvos there should be a sense of guilt and remorse. She escaped from the incident, silently apologizes for leaving her partner with their enemy. Then the scene changes, and we see that giants carrying the Hack on their shoulders. At a distance, drops of blood fall from Hack wounds, and after a while, Salvos found herself outside the Demon King's realm, as he was deeply saddened by this fact, that he could sacrifice himself to save her, while he, the Demon King, having chosen to leave to be taken by Regenerax. She now walks the white surface alone. She has her questioned the decision and wondered if it right to do so, that she had been alone for most of her existence, and had only spent a short time with him, not sure what to do next, which is her first attention was there. Now she wondered what is there only in your life instead of evolution. She raised her hand and determined to find a better reason for her actions. Salvos confessed that it was fun to level up, feeling a sense of completion with each evolution, but she understood that if she just wants to follow her instincts, to fight and to develop, that the wild will not be different from the demons she faced. Hack was his partner, who recognized her as Salvos. While they could not always be together, recognition was important to her. She wanted to acknowledge him and return the Demon King's domain. Salvos faced his own enemy, but by defeating him herself. Turning back, she stood in front of the door and looked at him with determination. Meanwhile, when he stepped into it, following the Hack trail she from the lair of Dajan, step into the blood of the tracking Hack it taken to him. When Salvos saw Dajan at a table, Hack, when he was busy with something, it was closed behind him. In the middle of them was a pentacle. Suddenly Dajan, infuriated by this fact, he slammed his hand on the table. That Salvos have more powerful, it was a weapon. Salvos compared it, overheard the conversation between Dajan and her. Salvos felt the need to help Hack, while Dajan was in possession of his contract. When Dajan turned away, Salvos quickly Hack went to Dajan, was suddenly surprised to see her there, shouted in frustration when he was confronted. It looked like a mirror with a bright blue light. He kept talking to himself while Salvos tried to help Hack escape. Keep an eye on Dajan to avoid getting caught. Dajan, after all, a Hack is called, indicating that it is time that he meet the king using the spear of Salvos. The goal was to break the lock. With a successful strike, she opened it and made a noise that caught Dajan's attention. He screamed as the angry Salvos and hacked their gateway to Dajan, thrown into a circle of ash and cinders. While the Salvos threw a spear over his shoulder, Dajan screamed in pain, ash and cinder to pieces. The Salvos and hacks moved on, but Dajan managed to avoid it, pulled the spear from his shoulder, and he faced Salvos straight, and he directed the heat to proceed, but Dajan attacked her to avoid his attack. Salvos summoned her magical fire and fought to regain her balance. She demonstrated her fire skills against Dajan, But to she's surprise, Dajan was protected by the furious flames and she attacked him and attacked Salvos. Due to her falling to the ground, Dajan owned. She was preparing to end her life during this time. Salvos called out of deep concern for his well-being. However, she was facing this pain. Salvos at this critical moment, she used all her strength to get up. But Dajan developed another talent. Before he could attack with salvos of his own. He used double step and Dajan pushed into a nearby portal. He launched himself into the air. But Dajan managed to get hold of her feet by Salvos tried desperately to hold on to the ground. But Dajan grasped strong thigh hack vows to help Salvos. Salvos extending her hand towards them. She urged them to hold the hack, but unfortunately it was too late, for Salvos was completely drawn into the portal, and Lamb of Dajan leaving the hack alone. From the Salvos system window he was informed that her leaving Dajan Lamp and the Demon Kings is another. The notification indicated that Shimixius was leaving the netherworld behind and entering the realm of death. When they both Salvos and Dajan fell underground, so they were surprised to see many men who were dressed in black and masked, and among them a confident smile covered their faces. Dajan to the Netherlands addressed as the greatest devil of, however, her expression turned into one of confusion when Salvos standing next to Dajan. Feeling overwhelmed by the situation, Salvos saw the exposed man, who this person turned out to be a 45th level sectarian, smiled knowingly. And happily he said he did. Kamya man looked pleased with the successful summoning. And this claimed that he has offered the sacrifice of a virgin, declared that Dajan and Salvos it was the devils they summoned. He said that he has fulfilled the terms of their agreement by sacrificing. Now he asked for their help. The petition was centered around a town called Dawn Wind. He revealed that he once was influenced by Lucy because the cultist seen continuing his narrative that ran around Dajan's neck, ignoring it was shattered. The cultist shared his personal story, a story full of enthusiasm. What had Lucy intended to ask? But her dreams are shattered when Nolan's name a group of gold-ranked adventurers led by a warrior. Lucy arrived in town. Nolan falls in love and she with him escaped, which broke his heart. After hearing this man's story, tears welled up in his eyes and his voice shook with emotion. However, Salvos couldn't understand any emotions, or why was he sharing this story. Suddenly there was a scream filled with hatred and vengeance flares up against Nolan and his band. About the adventurers, Jin from Dajan begged the mighty Dajan to destroy Nolan and made him pay for his actions, and confused, she started looking for an escape route. Looked out, but 3 lower levels cultists stood in his way. They level 45 cultists, reminding him of his true purpose. His from King Hale spoken of revenge for oppressive taxation. And a level 45 cultist rejected his purpose, saying that even a powerful demon like Dajan the king cannot be destroyed suddenly by Dajan. Anger erupted to stop him. Ring as he broke as he unleashed her wrath on the sectarians and attacked them one by one. With her spear the cults tries to remind Dajan of their contract, but is too strong. Satan ignored him and observed the chaos. Salvos saw the moment to jump and escape when she got out of Pentacle, casting a terrifying fire strike which frightened the cultists. Tried to block her way. The cultists ordered their followers to stop the Salvos, but his orders fell on deaf ears, for Dajan turned his anger upon them. At the same time, Salvos narrowly avoiding a spear thrown by a cultist. Now faced with 3 cultists, who as they were blocking the way attacked her with magic and weapons. In response, the Salvos launched another fire strike which defeated 2 cults, the last one leaving only one standing. The rest of the cultists at her spear attack, but Salvos one strongly counterattacked. The fire strike broke the spear, and leaving the cultist unaware of it, 2 other cultists behind her came stealthily, and despite the pain that shot through her back, she did cope with a devastating fire explosion, the one who defeated them both. She continued running, getting closer to the exit with every step. Finally she leaped out of the cave and into a forest, dashing away without looking back. However, she stumbled over a rock and fell to the ground. She realized she had managed to lose her pursuers as Salvos checked notifications about her increasing attributes. Exhaustion overcame her, and she passed out. She was awakened by a dream of Heek's voice urging her to run. She found herself alone in a strange green land, realizing she had entered the mortal realm. Although everything still hurt, she was grateful to be alive. Suddenly she heard a rustling sound behind her. Turning around, she expected to face a fearsome hellhound, but was surprised to find herself face to face with a level 18 dark wolf. Despite the pain and confusion, Salvos readied herself for the fight. With a single fire strike she defeated the wolf. Annoyed by how easy the battle was compared to her previous fights, she prepared to continue her journey back to the netherworld. As she made her way, she couldn't help but be distracted by the beauty of the creatures she encountered along the way. Butterflies, snails, caterpillars. They were all so different from what she was accustomed to, but the sky puzzled her the most, as it changed colors, shifting from blue to orange, then dark, before returning to blue again. Salvos continued her journey through the unfamiliar realm. She couldn't shake the feeling of being hunted. The rustling sounds would always precede the appearance of wolves intent on attacking her. Frustrated by these constant encounters, she fought them off using her fire magic, growing more irritated with each battle. Upon reaching level 19, Salvos came across a wolf pup that had no level indicator. Before she could ponder this strange occurrence, a massive level 30 dark wolf emerged, clearly the leader of the pack. So is this the last of your pack? That's why they were all such low levels, right? I've already taken care of the rest of your pack, Salvos questioned, provoking a fierce growl from the wolf. She realized that the wolf was angry with her for killing so many its pack members. Addressing the remaining wolves, Salvo stated, your minions attacked me first, and that's why they're all dead now. I'm prepared to take all of you down, including the level 30 dark wolf. 2 wolves suddenly leaped at her from behind, but she was ready. Without even looking, she swiftly struck them down with her fire strike. The lower level wolves retreated into the grass, leaving only their leader behind. Salvos activated her fire strike skill and focused, keeping an eye on the wolves hiding in the grass, attempting to confuse her. Suddenly 3 wolves sprang forward simultaneously to attack her, but Salvos managed to defeat them all. Blood splattered around her as she kneeled on the ground, catching sight of another approaching wolf. With a roar, the wolf lunged at her, but Salvos quickly used double step to charge at it, striking with a powerful fire strike. Wolf managed to escape through a shadow portal. Undeterred, Salvos continued her assault on the remaining wolves, almost defeating them all. Unbeknownst to her, the levelless wolf had regained consciousness and stood behind her. Seizing the opportunity, the level 30 dark wolf emerged from the shadow portal and attacked Salvos, biting her arm. Pain shot through her, causing her to scream out. Enraged, she unleashed a fire blast targeting the dark wolf. However, the flame barely left a scratch. It seemed that this was the only wolf remaining that Salvos needed to defeat, but she wasn't sure if she could win this fight. To her surprise, the levelless wolf lunged at the level 30 dark wolf, biting its neck. Salvos realized that the levelless wolf was helping her with the level 30 dark wolf. Wounded and unable to continue the fight, it fled to escape. Salvos was puzzled by the wolf's actions and approached it cautiously. The wolf bowed to her. Are you grateful? Salvos asked, understanding that the dark wolves had been a threat to this wolf as well. The wolf nodded in response. Well, it's no problem. They were attacking me too, so I defeated them all, Salvos said with a wide smile. She asked the wolf if it knew the way to the netherworld, but it only whined in response. Undeterred, Salvos asked if there was someone who might know how to reach the netherworld. The wolf pointed in a specific direction, catching Salvos' attention. Can I find someone who can help me there? She inquired, deciding to trust the wolf's guidance. Salvos set off in that direction. After defeating several more wolves, Salvos reached level 20. Meanwhile, in the depths of the forest, 2 people were having a conversation inside a carriage. They discussed the ongoing invasion of Fallisfield by the Dusk Wolves and the lack of adventurers willing to confront them. They spoke of the gold-ranked adventurers hired by the Ignoria Empire and Electric Kingdom to defend against the monster attacks while their armies were engaged in war. It was suggested that any smart adventurer would avoid Nixa and head straight to the kingdom.